The Conservative frontbencher laughed immediately after being asked the question before he delivered a brilliant answer. Mr. Davis had finished his speech, which set out Britain's future relationship with the EU. The Brexit Secretary said the UK will be able to raise to the top and will not turn to a state of lawless chaos after cutting ties with Brussels. The reporter who asked the Brexit Secretary the final question asked Mr. Davis whether he could respond to reports that he was lazy. Sky News Brexit News David Davis was asked by a reporter to respond to claims that he is lazy. The Conservative politician laughed before he said they should give them my travel schedule, which starts early in the morning and arrives rather later than most people go to bed. The Brexit Secretary then returned to the first part of the question, which asked whether the government will have a clear position on what it wants from trade negotiations with the European Union by the end of the week. Mr. Davis said, "The difficulty with answering the question is that there is no final answer. We have started back at Lancaster House with a grand outline of the plan, which is the same as it is now in outline. They should give them my travel schedule." David Davis, it was fleshed out in more detail in Florence. The 2 white papers on it. There are any number of 14 policy papers. I lazily gave up my holiday all summer to sign them all off, and, of course, we will be talking about some of these specific issues on Thursday. The policy will get more and more closely refined, and that is what will happen on Thursday, and very successfully. The Brexit Secretary then took one more dig at reports of being called lazy. Before he finished answering questions, he said, "Right, I think I better stop there because in my lazy schedule one have got to head off to Athens next." The Brexit Secretary is set to visit 5 European capitals in 3 days, where he will outline how Brexit Britain will race to the top. Mr. Davis will also reassure European leaders the UK will commit to the highest regulatory standards after Brexit, which should mean minimum barriers to trade with the EU will be erected. Monday, February 5, 2018. Michel Barnier and David Davis head to Downing Street for lunch meeting. During his speech, he said, "The agreement we strike will not be about how to build convergence, but what to do when one of us wants to make changes to rules. Neither side should put up unnecessary barriers during this process. A crucial part of any such agreement is the ability for both sides to trust each other's regulations and the institutions that enforce them. Such mutual recognition will naturally require close, even-handed cooperation between these authorities and a common set of principles to guide them, and the certainty that Britain's plan, its blueprint for life outside of Europe, is a race to the top in global standards, not a regression from the high standards we have now, can provide the basis of the trust that means that Britain's regulators and institutions can continue to be recognized."